Let's bring in our panel now. Sandra, David Avella is the chairman of GoPac, and Leslie Marshall is a Fox News contributor. You heard what Jackie Heinrich was saying about the potential to ram this through on a reconciliation process, which would require just a simple majority. The National Journal has this headline today: Biden isn't living up to his bipartisan promises. The president is saying the right things about working with Republicans, but his administration's early actions suggest he's more interested in pandering to progressives. Leslie, is he?
No, not at all. I think I'm going to flip the question. Are Republicans serious about working in a bipartisanship manner if they're proposing less than a third of what was originally there? That's not a negotiation. That's not even a starting point. Look, there's zero money for state and for local aid. There are governors who are Republicans who are angry with Democrats. So you might say there's bipartisan outrage that the Republicans won't work with the Democrats on this for the best interest of the American people and not just looking at fiscal financial responsibility first.
David, Republicans make the argument that there's still a lot of money from the last coronavirus relief bill that has yet to go out the door. So why do you need to spend another $1.9 trillion in a broadly based COVID relief package? Why not target it towards certain things?
It's an outstanding strategy, and one that we're going to see quickly how much Biden wants to be bipartisan and how he pursues this. But as former President Democrat Harry Truman said, the only thing new in the world is the history that you don't know. And the history that we know is the Democrats will jam through reconciliation any piece of big legislation that they need. So right now, this isn't about whether Republicans can come to a compromise with Joe Biden. This is Joe Manchin of West Virginia, the Democrat giving the most concern about the fiscal impact of this new budget that Biden is putting together for COVID. Is he going to be for it? Because if he's not for it, Biden needs Republicans. If he can get Joe Manchin, they'll jam it through with reconciliation and not think two things about it.
Yeah, Senator Rick Scott of Florida was asked about this last night on Fox. Here's what he said about it.
We're into 10 days of his administration now. He's already saying he doesn't care if to work with Republicans. He has, he's going to try to get this done with Bernie Sanders with just 50 Democrat votes. That doesn't make any sense.
Bernie Sanders said if Republicans want to work with us, they have better ideas on how to address these crises. That's great. But to be honest with you, I've not heard that yet. Leslie, the way that this is shaping up, looks like the Democrats are going to say, we're happy to work with the Republicans. The Republicans put forward a proposal that the Democrats say, no, that's off the table. And then they go ahead and they pass this on a reconciliation vote.
Well, we've seen that happen, as we just heard from Jackie's report, both from Republicans and Democrats. And it's interesting that David brings up Joe Manchin in West Virginia, because the governor of that state, who's a Republican, he actually doesn't like what the 10 are proposing with less than a third to President Biden today. Let's keep in mind, working in a bipartisan manner or unity does not mean lying down like a welcome mat at a front door and giving the other side everything they want. You can be united and still have individuals along party lines disagree. Where we need to agree is what's best for the American people. And as we're hearing across the board, what the Republicans, the 10, were proposing to the president today just is not enough, especially with zero state and local aid, especially for those states very much hurting and needing it.
I want to get your thoughts on another topic here. Gavin Newsom, governor of California, of course, he's facing that recall petition, but he's also facing opposition from Democrats who are upset with his vaccine policy, his regional stay-at-home orders, continued school closures, poor communications. David, he's getting it on both sides here. Is he really in jeopardy in terms of his tenure there?
It's so bad for Gavin Newsom. I'm hoping Leslie's going to vote against him on the recall vote that's no doubt bound to happen. But, what do you expect with a guy who gets to eat at the French Laundry, but yet he's trying to get progressives to believe he's with them and understand their goals and what they're trying to do? No wonder he's getting it from both sides. And, you could throw in there Governor Cuomo of New York as well. And it's interesting that Biden didn't pick either one of them to get rid of a political issue for him in 2022, in that Newsom puts California more in play. And, as Governor Cuomo's numbers continue to go down, New York could be in play for the governorship.
We're going to talk about Cuomo later on this hour. Leslie, just put a button on this for us. Do you think that he is going to be facing a recall? The petition is very close. They've got 1.3 million signatures so far. They only need another 1.9 million, and they've gotten until March 17th to do it.
No, because quite frankly, I lived through the last recall in this state, and it was ridiculous. We ended up with Arnold Schwarzenegger, zero political experience, who left the state worse than if they had left Gray Davis in his position.
but I
this
asked
is
you
not
if you
the
thought it
time
was
to
going
be
to-
recalling anybody. And I would say that if it was a Republican governor,
is it
this
going
is
to
not
happen?
the time to be doing this.
Will it? Maybe it's not the time, but will it happen?
I don't believe it will. I don't believe they'll get the signatures because in California, the numbers are improving. Things are starting to open. If we have people that won't block access to vaccination centers like we saw at Dodger Stadium here in Los Angeles, I don't think that Governor Newsom currently is in danger.
We will loop back around with you on March the 17th and see how you did in your prediction. David, Leslie, good to talk to you. Thanks so much.